Welcome to Myth or Reality Stories. Is this story a myth and untrue, or reality and totally true? You decide.
In the quiet and remote towns of Berkshire and Richford, Vermont, a mysterious creature known as the Awful emerged in the early 1900s, sparking fear and fascination among the residents. The first recorded sighting occurred in 1925 when two local sawmill workers reported encountering a monstrous being that defied explanation. They described seeing it perched high on a rooftop, motionless yet ominously alive, with leathery gray skin, a long serpent-like tail, and talons large enough to grip a full-sized milk can. The creature was unlike anything they had ever seen, but it was the wings, stretching an astonishing 20 feet across, that truly sent chills down their spines. News of the sightings spread quickly through the small towns, and the creature was soon dubbed the Awful. Residents became consumed by wild speculation and whispered conversations about the mysterious being. Farmers reported seeing it gliding silently over their fields, casting an enormous shadow that sent livestock scattering in terror. Townspeople locked themselves inside at night, dreading the faint sound of wings in the sky or the sharp, unmistakable cry that preceded its appearance. Although it never attacked anyone, its mere presence instilled such paralyzing fear that one man suffered a heart attack after encountering it. As time passed, more and more residents claimed to have witnessed the Awful. While the details of their stories varied, one thing remained consistent: it watched. The creature didn't charge or screech, it simply perched, observing the townspeople with an eerie stillness, as if calculating something beyond human comprehension. Ola Hopkins, a local woman, recalled a particularly chilling encounter when she saw the Awful perched on the roof of her house, glaring down at her. Panicked, she ran inside and hid under her bed, listening to her dog's frantic barking until everything went eerily silent. The fear surrounding the Awful grew so intense that even the legendary horror writer H.P. Lovecraft supposedly became intrigued. In 1925, Lovecraft is said to have traveled to Vermont to investigate the creature himself, though some accounts dispute this visit. Whether or not Lovecraft ever made the trip, the Awful's legend continued to grow in the absence of any clear explanations. In the late 1920s, the sightings began to diminish, and for years, it seemed the Awful had disappeared altogether. But the story didn't end there. In 2006, more than 80 years after the original sightings, a chilling new report emerged. A respected local in Richford claimed to have seen the Awful again, describing it swooping down to snatch a large black crow from the top of a tree before circling the witness's home 3 times and disappearing into the forest. The 2006 report reignited interest in the Awful, leading other locals to come forward with their own stories. One woman recounted a childhood sighting of a strange creature perched in a tree near Trout River, describing it as having a beak and talons that matched the description of a pterodactyl. An older man living near the Gibu area reported hearing a low, unnerving scream before seeing the Awful soar through the sky, noting that the creature didn't seem aggressive, but rather curious, as if it enjoyed watching the townspeople squirm in fear. To this day, the true nature of the Awful remains a mystery. Theories range from a misidentified large bird to a prehistoric creature that somehow survived into modern times, but no conclusive evidence has ever been found. The fear and fascination surrounding the Awful, however, persist. Locals in Vermont still talk about the creature in hushed tones, and some claim that if you listen closely on a quiet night in the woods, you might still hear the slow, rhythmic flapping of massive wings overhead.
This story is a reality and totally true. Please subscribe, or else.